Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today my favorite CBeauty brand is back with another series. This is Girlcult's latest collection. It's inspired by a Chinese herbology encyclopedia. I just love how Girlcult is always incorporating some type of Chinese culture into their collections, and it's always such unique, innovative colors and formulas within the collection. So I'm really excited to give you my review. I will say that it is a first impressions. I tried everything for the first time today. I typically don't do a lot of first impression reviews, but with Girlcult, I know their formulas quite well. I don't really need a long period of time to see whether I like their eyeshadows or their lippies, so I felt like first impressions for today, we should be good. I wanted to get this video up while this collection is still new-ish. Also, another thing is that I don't have the entire collection. I just got one product from each category to review, but I will have everything linked down below. Also, my codes are down below as well. It is available on CHICDECENT and YESSTYLE, so I have codes for them both. I'll leave that all in the description down below. With that being said, let me give you my thoughts on the collection. So like I said, I didn't purchase everything from the collection. I just got one little thing from each category. So we're gonna start off with their face palettes first. There are two different types. One is cream, which is the one I got, number 2 peach blossom, and the other one has more powders, and this is 30 USD. Now if you guys know me, you probably thought I would have gotten the powdered version, which makes more sense because I'm a powder girl. I have oily skin through and through and through, but I decided to get the cream version. Yeah, I did get the cream version just because of this really interesting gloss highlighter. My friend on TikTok, TJ, she described this to be like a cat's eye gloss. Cat's eye is in the magnetic nail. That's very pretty. And that's the reason why I went for the cream. And you know, in hindsight, maybe I should have just went for the powder because I don't know how much I'm gonna actually use this gloss. So in this face palette, it comes with 5 different shades for 5 different purposes. We first have the cream brightening highlighter. It's in a light salmon baby pink shade. When you look at the pan, it does look a bit darker, but once you start working it in, it does come off very white, super creamy, very pigmented. A little does definitely go a long way. I actually didn't even use concealer today because I just felt like it did its job. It had the coverage, it was brightening, and I did just like sort of take my cushion puff and blended it in with my foundation. But I actually like this formula. Out of this palette, is probably one of my favorites in here. This one worked really well, and if you have dry under eyes like me, this would be perfect because this did not cling onto any dry patches, and even after setting it down with powder, there is no dry patches underneath there. Very creamy, perfect for dry skin. I think this palette in general would be ideal for dry skin. Then we have 2 cream blushes. One is a little bit more of like a mid-tone orangey peach. I applied that down first sort of as a base, and then I went in with the more darker terracotta orangey brick red, and these two are side by side for this exact purpose, for layering. When you do it like this, you will get more of a blended look. I was expecting the blushes to be quite pigmented too, but they actually are a little bit more buildable, and they 100% go on matte, which is kind of like weird for me because it's a cream. I would like expect it to go on a little bit glossy, but it goes on super matte, but it's still very easy to blend out. But there isn't much pigment to them once you start blending it out, you know what I mean? And especially after setting it down, it does tone it down a lot, so you could possibly go a little bit more heavy-handed with this. And I will say I have used a few of their cream blushes in the past. They definitely are not my favorite. I feel like they tend to kind of like skip over a little bit once you start blending it out, and they just sort of like fade away very quickly. So Girlcult's cream blushes I haven't had the best time with. It's definitely not my favorite, but for something very subtle on the face, it does definitely work. But then we move next into the contour. This is also a cream product as well. When I first saw it, I thought this was a powder, but this one is a little bit more hard pressed. It's not as like slippery, you could say. Almost feels like a solid butter. You know when butter's like solidified, it's still like slippery, but not as slippery as these cream products. The contour I actually really like. It does blend out to be very natural, so I will say out of this entire palette, I like the contour and the brightening the most. But the contour worked really well. Used it for my nose and used it on my jawline as well. Blended very easily. But then we go on to the reason why I bought the palette, which is that water gloss formula, described to be like a cat's eye formula, and it's so slippery, you guys. To describe it, it feels like you're touching solid water. Like, it's so jelly-like, and it really is just like a transparent gloss. So you could use this on your face if you wanted like that glossy eye effect. For me, I don't really know how to use this kind of product because I'm a powder girl. So I did apply it to my cheeks, and you can see it literally looks like my skin. It looks like porcelain. It looks like literal glass, like water almost. So it really does give that nice effect. I don't have any other product like this in my collection. It's very interesting. I feel like if you are a dry skin girly, you don't really sit in your makeup and you love that glass skin look, this would be perfect for that. I don't really know what I was expecting from it, you know what I mean? I think I was expecting it not to be clear. I think I was expecting it to have like some kind of shift to it. So I feel like for me, this palette is like a half and half. I really like the brightening highlighter. Amazing pigment, very creamy, doesn't stick to my dry patches. And I really like the contour. The blush and the glossy highlight, I'm not too sure how I feel. And I think moving forward with a lot of Girlcult collections, I'm probably not too interested in their cream blushes because again, I just haven't had the best time with it. But this is coming from a person who doesn't love cream blushes, okay? The only cream blush I really love is from Flower Nose. I also really like ColourPop Super Shock, so something that has a little bit more pigment in them. I think overall the face palette, I think maybe the powder one, definitely I might have liked more. I don't know why I got the cream when I don't even like cream products. Yeah, that's on me. That's on me. Personal preference. We have the options there. But moving on to what I really love from Girlcult are their eyeshadow palettes. So I did end up picking both of the eyeshadows. And I just feel like at this point I'm just collecting these because they all come in the same shape, but they are always in different colors depending on the collection. So I've gotten it from the past, I think, three collections now, so I'm just continuing on. It's just my little collection and I think it's just so pretty. I love the jade detail here. And in Girlcult fashion, they always come out with one that has 2 mattes and 2 shimmers. Comes with 2 mattes and then 2 shimmers slash metallics. The mattes in here are super creamy and buttery. They have good pigment in them. I love their eyeshadow formula. And then they'll have another palette that has all 4 are duochromes or multi-chromes, and they are a little bit more expensive. It's $35. I love these palettes. I think they are so worth it. I would recommend number 60 if you are someone that you don't really like love wearing color, but you want to dabble your feet into it. You don't want something too intense. I would say go for number 60 because you have those 2 mattes to create that base. You can go with the lighter green in the inner corner, something subtle, darker green, which is like a duochrome. It does flip to a lighter green, but has a lot of nice, beautiful sparkles in there. Very pretty. This would be for the ones that like just like a little bit of color, or you're just getting into color. But if you want something to add to your collection, I would say get the one that has all 4 of the duochrome multi-chromes. And these are so pretty. I know it's just a palette full of green metallics, but trust me when I say all 4 of these shades are different on the eye. One is a more of a chartreuse, one's more of like a bluish green, one is more of like a lime. It just gives so much dimension. And like I said, all 8 shades of these are on my eyes. I would highly recommend both, but for me, as someone who has a pretty big collection, I would recommend the multi-chrome ones. These are so pretty, and I feel like for $35 you're getting 4 multi-chrome duochrome shadows. That's a pretty good price point. I think there are some brands that would sell single multi-chrome shadows for maybe like, I don't know, like $10-15 a piece, and the quality is amazing. I would always recommend Girlcult shadows. It almost reminds me of Kaleidos, their formula, but Kaleidos, I don't think they have as many multi chromes, but cbeauty just does eyeshadows really well. Now let's move on to the lip colors. So we do have it in two different formulas, one gloss, one matte, and there are several shades in each finish, but I did just get one from each, and these are $15 US each. Okay, let's go into the more glossy formula first. This comes in the brown packaging, and these both are like film forming, so they will create like a slight transparent film on the top, so when you do drink or when it does transfer, it's just like the first layer is coming off, but you'll still have the color. This will just make it a little bit more long lasting. But the shade I got in the glossy formula is number L10, and to describe the shade, I would say it's like a dirty mustard brown with a lot of green glitters coming through. The glitters are quite subtle. I would say you definitely see most of that like musty brown. It matches my top perfectly, but it's a nice like glossy lipstick formula. It does definitely have that pigment. It's very pretty, and for $15 I would recommend. I think this color is so unique into my collection. But if you don't like gloss, I would say S07 in the matte lipstick formula is probably like the equivalent version of it, and it's what I'm wearing on my lips, although I did dab on a little bit of eyeshadow on top just to enhance that green a little bit more. In the swatches online, it does look like the glitters peep through a little bit more, but I will say definitely in person and when you swatch it on your lips, you just see most of that matte brown, which by the way, this is a very comfortable formula. Although it's very matte, it does not emphasize the lines on your lip. Very, very comfortable, very lightweight, has the pigment. It does not look patchy at all. I feel like a lot of times with like darker lipstick matte formulas, they can look very patchy, like black matte lipstick or a dark brown. It can look patchy, but these don't, because the formula is just so fluffy and like lightweight, very comfortable, and again a very unique color. I really don't have anything like this in my collection. So yeah, both formulas I really love. You have your options, and again these are the more interesting shades in the range. They have more peachy colors that are a little bit more wearable, but I have a really big collection, so I want to add like more unique things into my makeup collection. So I would say for this collection, my top picks definitely are the eyeshadows and the lippies. Face palette is okay. I think I definitely will keep using it for the brightening and also for the contour, but I'm not sure how I feel about the gloss or about the cream blushes, but that's okay. But that is actually everything that I purchased from the collection. Let me know what you guys think down below. I always look forward to Girlcult's new collections. I love a good theme. I love a good color theme, so they just it's always so good for me. If you guys did find this review helpful, I would appreciate so much if you could give it a thumbs up for me. But that is essentially going to conclude today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching as always. I love you so much, and I'll go ahead and see you in my next one. Bye!